Okay, welcome to Profit First for Bookkeepers, a webinar brought to you by Profit First Professionals. We're just waiting for everybody to log on and to join us. So if anybody's joining, as they join, would you please just drop into the chat maybe where you're joining us from? That would be really helpful, just so we can get a gauge who's here, where you're joining us from. Are you in the UK? If you are, what town are you in? And let's just see where we're going. Here we go, Bournemouth. Excellent. So we've got Samuel joining us. Is anyone else? We've got quite a few people there. Jason's in Orpington, Kent. I'm in Bristol. Where are you, Deb? Bedfordshire, of course. So as you're coming in, joining the room, please just enter in the chat. I can see there's quite a few of you here who haven't entered in the chat yet. Just drop in there where you're joining us from, please, just before we get going. We just want to make sure the chat's working properly for everyone. There we go. There's a few more people. Siobhan's in London, Lisa's in Buckingham, and Sadia's in Manchester. Well, welcome everybody. I know there's a few more here, but that's okay. Hello, Melissa, based in Huddersfield. Thank you very much. Okay, it's great to have you here. Welcome to Profit First for Bookkeepers. So just going to introduce ourselves. So I'm Tim Seymour. I'm the joint owner of Profit First Professionals. I used to be an accountant and I had an accountancy business for 17 years. As part of the services that I provided to my clients, I offered bookkeeping services. So I kind of know firsthand where we're at if we're running a bookkeeping business. I also understand how when you offer bookkeeping services and you offer them on a regular basis, i.e. monthly, you are constantly and consistently in your clients' numbers. And for me, that makes you in pole position to offer advisory services such as Profit First, because you know exactly where your clients are at with their numbers. And it's a bit of an advantage over accountants because sometimes accountants see the figures at the end of the year. They may monitor the monthly, etc., but sometimes they see it at the end of the year and it becomes a bit of a reactive thing. How can I help my client now? Because the 12 months have gone by, we're 3 or 4 months later on down the road. So for bookkeepers, you're in your numbers, you're in your clients' numbers, you're in pole position to offer advisory services. So hopefully we can get that message across to you today. And by listening to everyone in the room, you'll take something away from this call and you'll be able to, move your bookkeeping business forward, which is our intention. So like I say, I'm Tim, I'm the joint owner of Profit First Professionals, and I'm going to share with you everybody else around the room. So Jason, I'm going to come to you next. Would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Sure, thanks, Tim. Hi, everyone. Yes, I've been with Profit First since 2019, certified back in 2019, and through 2023, been working with Tim and Duncan, taking new members through certification and then coaching thereafter. Big fan of Profit First. My background was really working as an outsourced CFO. Profit First became an absolute game changer for me in terms of how I was thinking about working with clients. So yes, I agree with Tim. I think from a bookkeeper's perspective, the currency of information that you have access to puts you in absolute prime position to offer advisory services to clients and help them well ahead of a period of time. It will also give you an edge over accountants on that basis as well, very much as Tim suggested there. So yes, looking forward to this morning, and we'll see what comes up. If you want to pop any questions in the chat, more than happy to check in with you there as well.
Thanks, Jason. And yeah, that's a really good point. Any questions whilst we're talking, please put them in the chat. Don't be shy. Ask anything you want to, and Jason will answer as much as he can and defer to us if necessary. So Deb, welcome along, Deb. Would you like to just briefly introduce yourself, and then we're gonna move on into what Profit First is.
Hi, I'm Deb. I run the Accounts Ladies. We're a team of bookkeepers, accountants, and business coaches. I've been doing that since, started off as a bookkeeper in 2008, but I joined Profit First Professionals in April 2022 after I read the book, and it was like a light bulb moment. It really helped my business, and then I knew that it's exactly what my clients needed. So yeah, I spoke to Tim, and here we are.
Thanks, Deb. Welcome along. We're going to hear a lot more from Deb a little bit later on, and I've actually got a much better introduction to introduce Deb properly from my point of view, not yours, Deb, not what you said, what I said, when we go to Deb properly a bit later on. So in the chat, please can you put yes or no, have you read the book Profit First? So this book here, this is what we're here for. This is what we're talking about. Have you read this book? Please enter yes or no in the chat. Please don't be shy. There we go. Oh, we got quite a lot of no's. Lisa's yes, but not finished. Okay, so quite a lot of no's. So this is okay because this means we need to explain to you what Profit First is, so that you've got a broader understanding of what it is we're talking about. I would urge you all to read the book, read Profit First. If you do nothing else after this webinar, go to Amazon, download Profit First, either buy it hardback, Audible, whichever it is you prefer, however you prefer to read or listen to books, read it. It's a life changer. It really is. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my story after this, but I can honestly tell you Profit First changed my life. So I would urge anybody to read the book. If you do nothing else, just read the book, take on board the lessons and see if you can help it, apply it to your business, if nothing else. So Profit First flips the formula. It flips the formula from the traditional accountancy way. So as you know, when we produce a profit and loss statement, we show our sales, we show our expenses, and then the result is our profit. That kind of is the problem, isn't it? Yes, of course, it has to be that way from an accountancy procedure point of view, but from a mindset point of view, it shows us that profit comes last. Quite often, we don't even look at this until after our year end. And sometimes it's 6 months after our year end before we have our meeting with an accountant and we have that conversation. And this is where the problem lies. We cannot then do anything about the level of profit we've got. We can't understand why we've made a profit, but we have no money to show for this profit. I'm sure you've all been asked this question from your clients over time. And we also find out we've got a tax bill and we've only got 3 months left now in time-wise to pay for this tax bill. And we haven't saved any money up. So with Profit First, we flip the formula and we say sales minus profit equals expenses, which from a mindset shift point of view means we're thinking about profit way before the year end. We're thinking about profit consistently and constantly. So how do we do this? And we relate this into a cash point of view. So when you receive income from your customers, at the moment, it's quite possible, and you may want to correct me and you may have some sort of savings bank account set up for this, but common practice for most business owners is to only have 1, maybe 2 current accounts and maybe 1 savings account, say a reserve account that you just pop some money in from time to time. With Profit First, you have a few savings bank accounts. And as the money comes into your income account, so into your current account, we're going to call this your income account now. As that money comes in, what we say is we move certain percentages out into different savings accounts. So we move a small percent into your profit account. We move a small percent into your tax account. We move a percentage into your owner's pay account. And what's left is for your operating expenses. So by default, that leaves you with less money to run your business on, but it also, it focuses your mind on everything that you're paying for, on all your expenditure, and it makes you think every line of expenditure on your P&L, what's that for? Am I getting a return on that expense? Is that expense protecting me? Or am I just paying for this because I've always paid for this? Do I really need this? So stage 1 of implementing Profit First in your business, in a way, is understanding what it is you're paying for and squeezing it so that you have to really think before you invest in anything new. So it's a mindset shift. The reason that we put money into the profit account first is for obvious reasons. This is called Profit First. And the profit account is set up to reward the business owner. So that's you. You're the business owner. Quite often, especially bookkeepers and accountants, they will run their business. They will receive their money coming in. They may be VAT registered, so the VAT will go out, but they then pay their staff if they have staff, they'll pay their rent if they've got rent, they'll pay all their other expenses. And at the end of the month, they'll think, oh, I've only got that to pay myself with. It's not quite enough, but that I'll have to do this month. And maybe it doesn't quite cover their personal expenses, maybe it does. And each month is a monthly cycle that just goes on and on and on. And we're such generous people that actually we don't want to charge our clients too much because we feel it's unfair. And we also want to make sure we pay the people that are helping us with our business because we've got to look after them. It's our responsibility. And that's true. But we leave ourselves to last. If you leave yourself to last ongoing, for one thing, you're not going to pay yourself enough money. Secondly, you're going to be working too many hours. Thirdly, you're going to make yourself ill. Finally, the business is probably going to fail over time because your health's going to go, and also the financial situation is just going to compound and be worse. So if you move the money into the profit account first, you're taking care of yourself. If you then move money into the owner's pay account, that's to pay your salary, you're taking care of yourself first. The remaining amount of money is for your tax and to run your business. It's as simple as that. It doesn't happen overnight. So when you implement profit first into your business, you have to run what we call a profit assessment. Now, I'm aware a lot of you haven't read the book that I'm talking to, so it actually would have been better if I'd have had some visuals on my screen that I could show you this. I can see Jason smiling, so he's probably thinking, yep, you're dead right there, Tim. So I apologize for that. My instinct was that most of you would have read the book, so I've misread that, but it doesn't matter. We'll carry on regardless. So yeah, Deb's just mentioned she's got a free PDF of the core chapters of Profit First. So you can hit her LinkedIn profile and you'll be able to download it. That would be a really good idea and a good starting place for all of you. So I'm not going to dwell on the ins and outs of Profit First too much, other than to say it's a strategy of managing the cash in your business and of making sure you look after yourselves first. And by looking after yourself and rewarding yourself properly, you're going to end up with a longer term sustainable business, which means you will look after everybody else within your business. Say if you have a team, if you have subcontractors, if you outsource, if you're offshore, or if it's just you on your own, you're going to have a better business because of this. So what I'm going to talk about now is, and I'm sorry that it's me talking quite a lot, I'm going to transition into talking about my journey a little bit before we go to Deb, because I think it's actually appropriate with the audience that we've got right now. So I had an accountancy business, and part of the business I offered bookkeeping services, and I ran this business for 17 years. I made all the classic mistakes when I set the business up. I didn't charge enough money. I did everything and anything that my clients wanted because I was so pleased to get my first clients. I would do anything for them. And I continued this cycle because they referred me to their friends who ran their own businesses, and I offered the same services and so on. It was a snowball effect until I got to the point where I was working really long hours. I wasn't earning enough money. Hair was falling out. I was going grayer. And, you know, it was that kind of situation. And quite understandably, it was affecting my health and my mental health as well. So I got to the point where I thought, right, I've got to change this. This isn't working for me anymore. This isn't, I'm acting as an accountant stroke bookkeeper. I'm not acting as a business owner. I need to transition to be a business owner. So I started looking around for different ideas. I looked at marketing. I looked at different ways to attract better clients. And then a client of mine, his name's Nick, he said to me whilst I had a meeting with him, by the way, I was in a mastermind the other day and somebody said to me about the Profit First book. So he said, so I got it and I read it. It's brilliant. Have you read it? And I said, no. So he said, come and join, come and, you know, get the book, read it. I think it'd be great for what you do for your clients. So I read the book, literally 2 chapters in, as Deb mentioned earlier, that light bulb went off in my head. Hence why I'm urging you all to read the book if you do nothing else from this webinar. The light bulb went off in my head. And I just thought, this is so simple. It's such a simple strategy. But I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this in my own business, and I'm not doing this in my client's business, but I should be. That was my first thought. I should be. So I contacted Profit First Professionals. At the time, it was ran in Homebase, which is in New Jersey in America. And I had an interview with Ron, and I was accepted to join Profit First Professionals. From that moment, I can honestly say I haven't looked back. And I was able to completely transition my business from working long hours, not earning enough money, to working less hours, earning a lot more money, and actually being able to sell my business for a rather nice profit, and transitioning into coaching and offering advisory services to business instead. So no more compliance for me. Part of the process of that, though, which is what's relevant to you guys, was that I found the best clients to talk to in respect of Profit First, naturally for me, were my bookkeeping clients, because I knew their numbers. I worked with them on a monthly basis. I did their monthly bookkeeping, I did their VAT returns, and I did their annual accounts, etc., and so on and so on. All the things that you do for your clients. But because I was working with them regularly, I knew they were the right people to talk to when it came to strategies. So sharing strategies with them about how they can manage their money better, how they could become more profitable. And we got success. And as we got success, I was able to increase my fees. As I increased my fees, my confidence levels grew, and I was able to attract better caliber clients overall. And I brought these clients into the business, charging much higher fees. And I was able to release a lot of the early clients, legacy clients that I'd taken on, that, to be honest with you, I trained to be bad clients. My fault, but I removed them anyway, and I passed them on to other accountants that were willing to take them on. So that's my kind of story, as briefly as I can make it. But my point is, and I keep repeating this, because the clients that I worked with on a monthly basis, I knew their numbers, I knew exactly where to look on their profit and loss figures, on their balance sheet, to see where I could help them from a Profit First point of view. So I'm going to stop talking, because I have been talking a lot, and I am going to ask Deb to share a little bit of her journey with Profit First and her business. Now, Deb, if you don't mind me saying, Deb, this is my introduction, by the way. I've built this up now, so I need to make this good, don't I? If you don't mind me saying, Deb, you joined us probably as a bookkeeper. I would say now you're definitely a business owner, if that makes sense. And I think you understand what I'm saying now, the transition from being, I'm offering bookkeeping services, to I'm actually a business owner that offers bookkeeping services, accountancy services, and coaching services with Profit First. So I'm going to let you explain more about that, if that's okay. But just to let everybody know, Deb is a certified Profit First professional. She joined us in April 22, and she was one of the first Profit First members that we took on. I believe, in fact, I think you were the first that we took on, since myself and Duncan took the license on the 1st of March of that year. So that's really exciting in itself. She's also just become an ambassador of the Institute of Accountants and Bookkeepers, and she also was a nominee in the inaugural Six-Figure Bookkeeper Club Awards last year, just before Christmas. So I wanted to share that, because I know Deb's not going to share that with you, because she's very modest. So I wanted to let you know, and that's why we've asked Deb to come along and join us for this webinar and talk to you guys, because Deb's you, and hopefully this will help you resonate with Deb's story and what we're trying to get over to you today. So Deb, would you like to share a little bit about your journey now? I've built you up in such style.
That's fine. Thanks, Tim. Hi, as I said before, I'm Deb. Bit of background, really. So yeah, Tim's exactly right. I used to be a bookkeeper. I'm now a business owner. So in 2003, I left corporate job in London, in the city of London, which was actually, it was business development management. I ran a team of 10. Went on maternity leave, like a lot of people, decided to do bookkeeping part-time. I did have a background in accounts at one point. I didn't, so I knew that I had experience in that, and I knew that it would be a job that I would be able to do around my children. I went on maternity leave in 2003. My then partner asked me to do his books and his tax returns, because he was running his roofing company. So he's had a team of builders. He told his friends down the pub, if you like, Deb's doing my accounts. So I thought, got all the inquiries. Deb, can you do mine? Can you do ours? So I thought I better do this properly. Went and qualified at IAB, got my practice license in 2008 and set up practice in 2008. By that point, I had 2 small children, 13 months apart. So there's no way that I was going back into corporate City of London. So I really just did it from 2008 up until 2022, 22 part-time. Around the children, I had a number of clients that I would do regular bookkeeping for, VAT, and tax returns. The general idea. I was a one-man band, called myself the accounts lady, which my company has now evolved into the accounts ladies. I wound down the business completely in 2018 because I had to homeschool my daughter. Then COVID hit. My daughter passed her GCSEs. She went to college to do accountancy. So I called us the accounts ladies. I decided either I'm going to go back and get a job or I'm going to make this work. And I knew that I had to do it differently because there was to just work for yourself on an hourly rate, you're just on a roadmap to burnout. So I knew that if I was going to do this, I was going to do it properly, I was going to do it differently, and I was going to build a team around me. And that's when I started reading entrepreneurial books, and I came across Profit First. And that I implemented it straight away, realized what a huge difference it made just to your own mindset of how you run your business. And I knew that the type of clients I had, which were a lot were tradesmen, a lot were property developers, property owners, chartered surveyors. I knew they were small businesses. I knew that this was the roadmap for them. So I looked how to become a Profit First professional, went on the website, booked in a meeting with Tim, and then jumped at the chance, qualified, I think, in the July, because actually I ended up having an AML inspection in the middle. So that took me back a bit to prepare for that. I passed with flying colours, which was great. But so I qualified in the July, and really the difference that it's made is it's expanded our business. So I now have accountants, bookkeepers, and business financial coach, who is a Profit First professional. So I reached out because I found that what I was doing was I swapped bookkeeping for just doing Profit First professional work for the advisory. And I was about to drop the ball, I think. So because it got really quite intensive. So I reached out to Rebecca Brown, who's also a Profit First professional, and I collaborated with her. She now does a lot of the Profit First work. So I actually run the business. So I do all the organising, I do all the sales, the marketing, the onboarding of clients, and I am like the client account manager, if you like. So we're a team of 8 now. But the main difference with Profit First and offering Profit First for me is a few things. The first thing is it's the type of clients we're getting. So because even though a lot of you haven't read Profit First, it is actually a really popular and bestseller entrepreneurial book. So, and it's not just accountants and bookkeepers that are reading it, it is a vast array of business owners that are reading it. So they are coming to us having read the book and wanting to implement it. And the type of clients we're getting are forward thinking. They do what they say they're going to do. They are keen to get things moving and to get in a place of successful and prosperity, profitable. So we're not having to chase these clients. We're not having to constantly phone them and ask them to send in their receipts, because they know that the figures have to be right. And the figures have to be right for us to be able to give them their allocations, and then they're on the next stage of the roadmap and they can see growth, if you like, and momentum. So it's that type of client that we're really quite grateful for having now, because as you know, a lot of the time we spend is chasing for paperwork, and we don't have to do that with this type of client. So that's that. The other thing is they're really ambitious. So they're not just plodding along, they're really excited about their business, or they want to fall back in love with their business, and they've read the book and they think this is the way to do it. So we're dealing with people that are really upbeat, motivated, really want to do things with their business and succeed. And ultimately, your profit for your business allows you to tick your lifestyle goals. So we ask them, what do you want to use your business vehicle for? What do you see how do you see your life being? And then we can roadmap and build that into the profit. So you don't necessarily just have to have profit for tax, for profit, tax, owners pay. You can also have it for new vehicles. You can have it for marketing campaign, and then ultimately in the personal finances, they can do it in there to save for a deposit for a new house, a new car, go on holiday, retire, new team member. All this kind of stuff can be built into the plan. So it's really, my business is a completely different model, really. It's just massively different from when I started, or even when I in 2015. It's hugely different, and it's because of the advisory, and it's because of Profit First. So as I say, we're bookkeepers, accountants, and business coaches, but we integrate it. So we encourage all of our clients to, even if they just have a VAT pot or a profit pot first, to introduce them if they're a little bit resistant, if they haven't read the book. But yeah, we're worlds away from where we were, and we couldn't have done it without Profit First. There's no way my business would be anywhere near as successful as it is. And to give you an idea, from in the first 18 months, we've hit 6 figures. So yeah. So
Fantastic, Deb. Thank you.
I'm happy to jump on a chat with anybody if they want to know more.
Thanks, Deb. That's fantastic. And thanks for sharing that at the end as well. That's amazing. Congratulations. Just picked up a couple of questions. So, hi, Lorna. Nice to see you. Thanks for coming along. And Lisa, yes, of course, yeah. So Deb's choice as her business owner was to grow her business and to have a team working for her. We also have members within Profit First Professionals that don't want a team. They want to just run the business themselves, and they set themselves up in a way that they would probably have less clients to pay them more money. So the work is more manageable. It means they work less hours, but they still earn a lot more money because they're offering not just bookkeeping services, and that's not meant to sound detrimental because bookkeeping is key to any business, as we know. But they offer on top of that their advisory of Profit First. They help them manage the cash in their business, and they help them become more profitable. You basically become a strategic partner to your clients, and you have strategy calls, I would call them, probably. You have strategy calls with them. You hold them accountable for taking action on what you've asked them to do, and you make sure that they're building up those pots of money in the background so that they can pay themselves the right amount of money, so that they can pay themselves from their profit account at the appropriate time. We tend to reward ourselves on a quarterly basis with our profit account, and we also use some of the money to build up what we call a vault account, which is building up a reserve of money for if anything unforeseen should happen. There I mentioned the COVID pandemic. We'd like to think these lockdowns won't ever happen again, but who knows? Had you had Profit First and had you had pots building up in the background for a couple of years before that happened, it wouldn't have affected you from a business point of view. You would have managed your way through it, and you would have had all the cash you needed without having to go towards the bank's back loans. So there's lots more detail we can go into with that, but obviously let's keep it at a higher level for now. So Deb, that was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I'm going to go back to reading the book, because there is also a big difference between reading the book and trying to use everything you've learned from the book in your business to being a certified Profit First professional. They're worlds apart, but the book is the first step. and it's a massive introduction to what the principles of Profit First are. So I would urge you to read the book if you haven't. If you have read the book and you're interested in joining Profit First Professionals, you can express interest in that. And we're going to put a link in the chat shortly for you to be able to do that. If you haven't read the book, don't fill that in, because you're not ready. And we wouldn't accept you as a Profit First professional if you haven't read the book, because you need to have some basic knowledge of Profit First before you join. However, what we can offer you is you can join our free community, which is called Croissants and Coffee. It's a community that I run alongside with Jason, and Deb is an active member of that. And it's a free community to join. We'll also put the link in that later on. It's full of UK-based accountants and bookkeepers offering support to each other. And we discuss Profit First in our monthly online sessions. So you'll be welcome to come and join us on there as well. But the difference between actually reading Profit First and becoming an active certified Profit First professional like Deb is massive. The book gives you guidance and it gives you the basic principles, but it's not a textbook. It's not a manual that you can follow and apply to everything in your business. As you know, with your clients and with your own business, every business is different. There's 20 of you on this call right now, and you're all bookkeeping businesses. And I bet you every single one of your business is slightly different. And if we were to look at your figures, we would have a different idea for each one of you, and we would tailor our way of working with you moving forward from running at what we call a profit assessment on your business. So with Profit First, when you join Profit First Professionals, the first thing you do is do an online quiz for the basic principles of Profit First. The second stage is implementing Profit First in your business. And this is enlightening for you. Trust me, we've been there. I did this 4 or 5 years ago. Jason did it 4 or 5 years ago. Deb did this with us back in April, May 2022. So it's enlightening, because what it does, it looks at your business from a cash point of view, and it tells you how you've been managing your cash in your business up to this point. And for some people, it's a massive reality check. We've had members, and Jason will bear witness to this, we've had members in tears, we've had emotional reactions. And basically what we've done is we've held their hand, we've given them a virtual hug, and we've told them it's okay. You need this to be able to move forward. And we're going to help you move forward, because now we're going to make a plan for you to be in a much better position later on down the line. Don't get me wrong, this isn't a quick fix. This is a long-term plan. So we will help you improve the cash in your business over a long period of time. It's not a in 3 months' time you'll be earning this amount of money situation. It's a we're going to help you manage your money, but you can't just suddenly stop making expense payments. We're going to help you gradually reduce those payments, or we're going to look at them and help you find areas where perhaps you don't need to pay. That only goes so far. We're then going to help you we're going to look at your clients, and we're going to help you identify which clients are your best clients that you could go and talk to about the Profit First strategies, the ones that you think you can make a difference to, and the ones that maybe will be willing to pay you for these additional services. And that's kind of the starting point. And then everything kind of builds from there. By implementing Profit First in your business, you're also going through the process that you're going to take your clients through. So you're going to understand the points of resistance. You're going to understand the questions that you've got in your mind. And you're going to understand when your client asks you that same question, you're going to say, I felt like that. I didn't understand why I had to open all these bank accounts. I didn't get it. And I didn't really want to do it. But actually, Tim and Jason kind of taught me around. So I did it. And I'm so glad I did, because now I have clarity on the numbers in my business. I have clarity on the cash I've got in my different pots. I know that at the end of the month, I've got the money set aside already to pay myself, and it's only halfway through the month. I know my tax money is building up in the background, and I don't have to pay that until next January. I know all these things are happening, and I don't need to worry. So what I can focus on is, how can I earn more money from my clients right now? Which ones will be open to the Profit First strategies? Which ones are the ones for me to talk to? And that's kind of where we help you. So once we've gone through implementing in your business, we then help you implement in 3 beta clients. So you choose 3 of your clients, and we help you implement Profit First with them. And then once you've done that, you take the final certification exam, which is a multiple choice quiz. then you're a certified Profit First professional. But that's just the beginning, because after that, we start to help you identify how you are going to offer this and who you're going to offer it to. We don't want you, say you've got 100 clients, we don't want you to send all your 100 clients in one go, a blanket email. They're not going to get it. What we want you to do is say, right, I'm going to choose these 5 clients because they're my best clients. They're the ones I think will be open to this. They're the ones I can identify areas where I can help them straight away, because I know their numbers, because I'm constantly and consistently in their numbers on a monthly basis. I can see they need help and I can see where I can help them. And you go to them and you have a meaningful conversation with them. You don't talk to them about, yeah, I've done all these transactions, your bank's reconciled, your VAT returns due, here's the amount. You actually say to them, yeah, of course, those have to be done, but you actually say to them, okay, so I've identified there's quite a few expenses in your P&L that perhaps we could look at. I've noticed that you're not building up any money in your tax account, but we know there's a tax bill coming. I've noticed that you have got a bit of profit there when we look at it from an accounting point of view, but there's no cash. Don't you ever wonder where the cash is? I can solve that for you. There's all these little areas that you can talk to people about and how you can help them. And it's going to help you be able to charge more money for your services because you're transitioning yourself in the minds of your clients from not being a bookkeeper, but to being an advisor, a trusted advisor. Yes, the bookkeeping is done, and that's just done. You don't even need to talk about it. We all know you can do it. We all know you're capable. You've all got the systems in place. I'm sure you've got the software in place to take care of all of that. And of course, you have to have the knowledge to be able to sense check everything. We understand all of that. But the next stage is, what else can you do for your clients? And Profit First gives you that advisory service. It just gives it to you. You don't even need to sit there thinking, well, what is it I can do? Well, everyone talks about advisory, but what is that? Profit First gives it to you. It's there, but it identifies areas for you to target with your clients. So there's a long-term success for your clients, which gives you long-term success. And of course, you would have the support of myself and Jason in particular. Obviously, Duncan, who's not on this call, is my business partner. He's joint owner of Profit First Professionals as well. And then you've got the community. And Deb is a member of our Profit First Professionals community and a wonderful member at that. She's already mentioned how she's collaborating with one of our Profit First Professional coaches. They've built up a way of working together. And it's fantastic because it means from Deb's point of view, she doesn't do all the work. She does part of the work. She's got her set tasks that she deals with, but she doesn't do all the work. Other people do the work and they're happy with it as well because they're getting the work that they want. They're doing exactly what they want to do. Plus, they get information and knowledge about Profit First in the background, some of the bookkeepers that Deb uses as well. And maybe one day they'll be joining us too. So I wanted to go through that, just trying to explain the difference between being a Profit First professional and reading the book. Obviously, for some of you, a lot of you said, no, you haven't read the book. That's the first step. Once you've read the book, it would be great if you would come back and have a conversation with us. We would love to hear your thoughts on the book. Even if you think it's a load of rubbish, we'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I'd be surprised, but we'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I want to mention a couple of things that our other members have said. I had a call with one of our members, Stephen Edwards. He's Cheltenham tax accountants, and he told me that he has added £100,000 worth of sales revenue onto his business because he's a Profit First professional. Just because. So that's 6 figures just because he's a Profit First professional on his sales revenue. And he has I did ask him permission to share this, by the way, because I knew I was talking to you all today. And I wanted to share that with you because I think it's really important to be aware of that. That's the kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? That's how much notice business owners are taking the Profit First right now. They're actively seeking people that have knowledge in and around Profit First. We went to the Digital Accountancy Show last year in June. I don't know if any of you went. It's a show for accountants and bookkeepers, as you know, and we had a stand there for Profit First professionals, and it was for one day, and there was 3-4 of us on the stand, and we were completely overwhelmed and swamped by the amount of people that consistently came up to talk to us. And the number one reason they came to talk to us was not because they knew who we were, It was because they saw there was someone here from Profit First. And the number one reason they asked to speak to us was because their clients were asking them, do you know about Profit First? I want to implement it in my business. There's a massive market out there for this. And we really need to try and tap into that. So there's a great opportunity for accountants and bookkeepers right now to look at that. Another one of our members, Dan Edwards, no relation to Stephen Edwards, just coincidence they got the same surname, by the way. I wrote that down earlier, and I had to think if I've got the right surname there. So Dan has been a professional as long as myself and Jason, if not slightly longer. And when he first started, he implemented his first client. This is a female business owner. The end of the quarter, she got her profit reward from her profit account. So she took half of her profit from her profit account, put half into a vault account, took half for herself, and it was enough to get her hair done. And that sounds daft, right? But it was a reward, and she was happy with it. And it was her first reward, because you take small steps to get the long-term goal, don't you? Now she's taken her quarterly profit reward, and she's booking 2 weeks holidays abroad. So that's the journey that you take your clients on with this, which, how rewarding is that? So that was Dan's message. And then I'm also gonna quote John Norton, who is another one of our Profit First professionals, and he's on one of our video testimonials. And he kind of just said one word, really. He said once he'd gone through it all, and once he'd realized how it worked, he had one word to say, and that word was life-changing. And I think that resonates with everyone who's a Profit First professional right now. We all say Profit First is life-changing. It's changed our lives. So, like I say, I can't urge you enough. By the way, we don't get anything for the sale of Profit First books. That's nothing to do with us. So the author, who I should mention, of course, the author and creator of Profit First is a man called Mike Michalowicz. He's an entrepreneur. Now, he had built up 2 multi-million-pound businesses back in his younger days, sold them, and then he decided to become an angel investor. So he was, I guess, a bit like how we see Dragon's Den is. He would invest in different businesses, trying to help people out. And unfortunately for Mike, it didn't work out. He, in his own words, he thought he'd made it. He got too big for his boots. He had all this money, and he proceeded to lose every single cent of it. And this is because he's American. That's why I'm saying cent. And it hit him. He was at home one day. I think he'd had foreclosure on his property. You know, it was that serious. He was sat around the table with his family, and he was upset, and he felt like he'd let everybody down. And his daughter went upstairs and came downstairs with her piggy bank and tipped her pennies on the table and said, "You can have my money, Dad." And that, it moved everybody when you hear that story, and it moved, and hearing him tell it is a whole different world to hearing me relay the story, of course. But it triggered something in his mind, and he went away and he created Profit First. And it's based on, when you think about it, I think he said his grandmother used to have an envelope system. So I'm sure you've all heard of the old envelope system where the husband, we're going back in old times, okay? So the husband went to work, gave the money to the wife, and the wife put the money in different envelopes. And one envelope would be for groceries, one envelope would be for the mortgage or the rent, one envelope would be for electric, one for gas. That's all Profit First is. It's that simple, except we're doing it within bank accounts such as Starling, such as Monza, such as Tide, such as Metal, where you can have pots. So we're doing exactly the same thing. Your money comes in, you drop it into pots. But I wanted to share a little bit about Mike, because obviously, like I said, some of you haven't read the book. So we're explaining who he is, why he came up with this system. The book's a multi-million selling book. He's written 10 other books as well, which I'm sure you'd be interested in reading. But like I say, we don't get anything for that. So why be a Profit First professional? If you want to offer high value services, this gives you the strategies. If you want to follow a successfully proven strategy and structure, this gives it to you, okay? If you want to add value to your clients and you want to move into advisory, but you don't know how, this ticks all the boxes. So there's a really good reason to become a Profit First professional in the UK. And like I said, there's lots of businesses looking for Profit First professionals right now. What are the next steps? So the next steps are we're taking on our next cohort. We take people on in cohorts now. The next cohort is the 1st of February. After that, the 1st of June. After that, the 1st of October. We take people in cohorts. We work them through a program of a mixture of group and one-to-one calls. And they also have access to an online portal called Profit First University. And you go through the certification process, which I've kind of mentioned earlier before. Once you're certified, then we take you into different programs and we really push you and hold you accountable to be successful with Profit First. So I'm going to just go around the room and just ask Deb and Jason if they've got anything they'd like to add to everything we've talked about. I'm conscious I've done a hell of a lot of talking and I'm really sorry about that. I'm enthusiastic about Profit First, so I get a little bit carried away, I'm not going to lie. Jason, if I come to you first, is there anything you want to add, anything you think I haven't looked at?
No, but you know me well enough to know the chance of me not having something to say are pretty slim. No. For those that haven't read the book, you will find that certainly a lot of your clients, as Deb mentioned, there are plenty of people who are out there reading it from a client perspective. They are going to read it from the perspective of what are the tactics, what accounts do I need to open, what are my percentages, and that will be where the mindset is. The way that I think about Profit First, as a book to read and what it really means for the future is it's really about creating progression and momentum in a business. And you will read, as you get to about chapter 4 or 5, you're going to come across a thing called a rollout plan. And the hint here is it is about the future. So we have this sort of idea that actually people read it for the mechanics, but that is just scratching the surface. Our ability to help people drive their business forward using some of these techniques is almost limitless for what it's worth, because they're thinking about it in a very one-dimensional way. So that's the first thing to say. So for those that haven't read it, just carry those progression and momentum words about what it does for a business as you read it. I agree entirely. There is an enormous opportunity within the UK for delivering Profit First to clients. It is a book that was originally written for America, hugely entrepreneurial country. They are years ahead of us in their thinking about these things. It's written for the US. That means that things like tax, and you will read about tax and how it gets dealt with in the book, you're going to say, but how do they just have one line called tax? So there are these nuances that we have in the UK that our prospects and clients will not understand. They won't understand that piece of translation. And that's an area in which we can help them for sure. Yeah, it's a framework. Amongst all of the PFPs that exist here at the moment, and Tim and Deb would absolutely hear me out on this, the three of us would apply Profit First in our clients' businesses slightly differently. Yes, there will be core tenets and understandings about the process and what we're doing, but our personal style, the way that we do business, how we think about business, will be slightly different. So we all have the ability to put our own take, our own personality into how we choose to deliver it. As much as it can help everybody, it's not for everybody. And that, I will go back to something that Tim and Deb both referred to, is it's about how we think about what we want to do in our business down the line. Lisa, I think, asked a question earlier on about, can it be done as a sole practitioner? Absolutely. I'm a coach. I don't have a bookkeeping or accounting practice. I run 20 clients and I do Profit First with them. So absolutely, it can be done in isolation, and it can definitely be done as a sole practitioner. It's entirely about the future for me. Compliance, accountancy, Tim mentioned that idea of year-end accounts. They're already out of date, all of those kind of conversations. One of the things that we can do for our clients is actually unlock the future for them. The future is hard. We don't know what it is. We have to predict things. We have to make judgments around things. That in itself creates value for our clients. The reality is they don't care about the bank rec that you're doing for them every month. They couldn't care less. They do care about a conversation about making decisions in real time and being supported around, can I buy the next van? Can I add an employee in? Can I spend more money on marketing? The future is hard, and Profit First gives us the ability to talk to clients very sensibly about their future. That is a conversation they are definitely interested in and want to have. therein lies the value, therein lies our ability to charge more for clients. So yeah, our ability to help people with real-time decision making is a very key part of that for me. My focus is very commercial as opposed to the compliance processing end of the financial world, to be fair. I think they were the things that I thought of, Tim.
Thanks, Jason. I really appreciate that. That's great. And it was a good way of summing up. Deb, I'm going to come to you in a second. Gemma has put a link in the chat. Now that will take you to Finding Out More, where you can fill out a form that's an expression of interest. I suggest you only do that if you've read the book. What that does, though, that will come through into my inbox, and I will reach out to you and we can book a call in. I'm happy to have a chat with any of you anyway, because I talk to accountants and bookkeepers every day, and I'm more than happy to have a chat with any of you if you want to just find out more, learn a little bit more, find out perhaps when it is right for you to join. Maybe it's not right to join now. And Lisa, yes, Gemma is about to put the link in for Croissants and Coffee. I would really welcome all of you to join the Croissants and Coffee group. The link there is to join via the Facebook group. There is another link that we haven't got with us now that takes you to join via the website, but I would prefer you to join via the Facebook group because it's a lot quicker and easier for you. Deb, would you like to add anything, please?
Yeah, just for me, the community of PFPs, Profit First Professionals, the caliber of the members is just second to none. I belong to quite a few groups over the last few years, and all have their attractiveness and their benefits. But really, with Profit First Professionals, I've found these are all seasoned accountants, business coaches, and bookkeepers. They have been in business and have successful practices for a number of years. I mean, we've got an award-winning. What did Graham win? He won North of England and whole of UK. Was it
Euro Business of the Year, something like that? Yeah.
And I have learned so much just being around and having conversations with the members. Just the ideas, the evolution from just giving compliance to giving advisory, and just elevating your own position within the community, if you like, within the wider community, because of who we're mixing with within Profit First Professionals. And it always seems to be collaboration, not competition. You know, they don't hide their secrets. You know, they don't keep themselves to themselves. If you want to know something, they tell you. And we've just come on leaps and bounds for that. And that I find possibly one of the, now at this stage, the most valuable, because we're on a steep trajectory, and it's because of the people that we're associating with in the memberships. They're so supportive, and everybody wants everybody to do well and to succeed, and we're all of the same mindset. When we were at the Profit First Professionals event, somebody said, well, you're all cut from the same cloth. And yeah, we just want to help each other. We want to help our clients. And yeah, that's for me, the community of Profit First Professionals. And you can't really get that sometimes through just looking at a webinar, because you have to meet everybody. You have to see everybody together. The atmosphere is fantastic.
Thanks, Deb. And I agree, you cannot underestimate the power of the community. And as Deb said, the fantastic part of we have group calls where all of our members come onto the call, or as many that are available come onto the call. And myself and Duncan and Jason, we never claim to be the oracle. We never claim to know everything. But what we do have is we have this amazing community of people, and somebody will have the knowledge to help another member. And so when we kind of have these calls, we kind of facilitate the call in a way. We bring up topics, we have these topical discussions, and somebody will ask a question that if we can't answer, because we don't know everything and we don't profess to, somebody in the room will be able to answer it without doubt, because they would have had those experiences. And that's the beauty of the community, is tapping into the knowledge, sharing and collaborating with each other. So yeah, I think that's a really good way to end the call, actually, on that community basis. In fact, I would argue Is community the right word? Should we call ourselves a family? Because it is that tight a network of people that are willing to share with each other. And as Deb alluded to, we had a Profit First live event in October. We had some amazing guest speakers. We had Mike McAlevich, the author of Profit First, obviously, come over and speak. We had Chris Ducker, who's into personal branding. I'm sure you've heard of him. Daniel Priestley of Oversubscribed and Scorecard app. Amanda Watts. I'm sure you've all heard of Amanda Watts. All came and spoke at our event. We had Joe and Zoe from the Six Figure Bookkeeper Club there. We had Ashley Leeds, the 15-minute LinkedIn guy. You know, we had, I'm probably missing people, Sky Barber. We had so many people there that are interested in supporting us and helping our community. That it's amazing. It just shows the way forward is Profit First Professionals for everybody. So thank you very much, everybody, for coming along. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you find it informative. Feel free to reach out to us. Feel free to please join Croissants and Coffee. I recognize some names that are on the chat that are already in Croissants and Coffee. It's great to see you here, guys. Those that aren't, come and join. If you're interested, if you've read the book and you're interested in finding out more, fill out the expression of interest via the Profit First UK website that Gemma put on the chat a little bit earlier. It'll come through to me. We'll have a chat. It's a relaxed chat. You're not committing to anything. Let's just have a chat, see where you're at. Let's see if you're ready to join or not. If you're not, let's then put a date perhaps when you can join later. And let's help you build up a pot to be able to, you know, build up those fees that you're going to need to pay to join us. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much, Jason. Thank you, Gemma, for supporting us in the background. And thank you, Deb, for coming along as our guest presenter. I really appreciate you sharing everything you shared with us. So thank you, guys. We'll see you all very soon.